Jamie Taylor, the Brit on the radio, in your logos. Let me gently introduce, in an amusing application of elusive alliteration, used with the pointed, pungent perspicacity, a thrilling threnody, a rapturous, rippling robustiousness. Our panel for tonight. What do you mean, huh? I thought it was rather good.
Okay,
Yeah.
first of all, he said perspicacity properly this time, which is kind of impressive.
Perspicacity.
All right.
It's better.
Yeah.
Are you having a go at me because I'm white and English?
More so because
I am. Yeah.
more so because you're English. Yeah.
The indefatigable, the indomitable, the irrefutable Kathleen Taylor.
Whoa.
A man who was once thought lost to legend and recently resurrected, Jason Springer now.
JT, what's good?
The Transylvanian Dark Lord of Literature and Pheromones, Ivo Ivanov. The most interesting man in the world's younger brother. The magic Dr. Orlando.
Wow.
And guesting on our panel tonight, just Troy.
Just me.
Just Troy.
Just me.
Yes. So without further ado, let's start with the first question for our panel. Faux politeness. Y'all have a nice day. For God's sake, enough. I think I need a bucket. Why are Americans so damn polite, particularly when they don't mean it? Dr. Orlando.
So I thought this was a holdover from when the Brits came over and populated the country.
Yeah, I was thinking he's got a hell of a lot of nerve as a Brit to be talking about fake politeness.
You got to let that shit go, dude. I mean, you got some aggression.
I thought maybe just because he's a Brit, he doesn't know shit about shit and didn't realize that, that the Brits were one of the first groups that colonized over here and didn't realize that is our stereotype about the Brits, that you guys are basically uber polite assholes that don't ever mean a goddamn thing you say.
Very much so.
Usually when I ask people, hey, how are you? It's because I really do not give a shit. It's a polite thing to say, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
But
I'm just being honest.
Okay.
I mean, I really don't
didn't
care.
mean that at all.
No.
But then the idea comes up. So when I read this question, I sat there and I thought, why is he even complaining about this? What would you rather have people say? Hi, how are you? Eat a dick. I mean, what would you rather have someone say to you?
My hand is raised.
Suck my dick. I don't want to eat my dick. No teeth.
No, eat a dick, not your dick.
Well, either way, no teeth. Teeth aren't good.
No.
Teeth are always bad, yeah.
No.
This went downhill so fast.
It really
Right
kind of
from the
started at
beginning.
the bottom of the
I feel
hill.
very comfortable. I'm not going to lie. I feel very comfortable.
Just Troy is sort of...
I'm not really sure where this is
we
going to
proved
go,
for
but I feel great.
at
now.
this
Okay,
level.
good deal,
Yes.
good deal. I think the point is that this have a nice day,
I don't think they really mean it, though.
No, they don't. So why do
No.
they say it?
I mean, am I allowed to say what I really think?
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
please
Fuck
do.
you. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
But
bastard.
they are not allowed to say that by their employers.
Well, it depends on who you're employed
So they
by.
simply say, have a nice day, with the inflection. Fuck you, get the hell out of here. It
Well,
works.
I think
say
it goes
that
past that, though.
all the time.
I think it goes past that. I think that we have, even if you're not talking about somebody in a work environment, you got people that'll walk up to you, and people will ask you. They don't know who you are. They'll say, "How you doing?" They don't give a shit about how you're doing. It's just that's one of our conventions.
And
That's
what is the
why be-
answer to
why be
how are
polite,
you
though?
doing?
Yeah.
That's
You
just
don't- you don't
you
know
just
me.
say
I don't
you say
know you.
I'm fine. You just say I'm fine. Because when you say I'm fine, that means don't ever talk to me for the rest of the day. Boom, I'm fine. No, leave me alone and go about your business.
I prefer the good things.
Good,
You're
thanks.
Not,
that
you're
works
not
too.
opening yourself up for any more
But
interpretation.
Thanks is
for
good, 'cause we can
parents
kinda
who are
close it up.
listening to this, driving along in the car or wherever they are,
God help you.
and their kids are yawning all over, have a nice daying all over the place. I mean,
You
do
haven't
you
been around little
Americans
kids for a
not
while,
realize
right?
that the rest of the world laughs at America? When you do this.
Especially now.
Says
know.
the Brit.
But you have to learn some politeness because in certain situations you have to be polite, such as a job interview.
Agreed.
You have to be polite. You have to show some dignity and some air of class. You have to have some politeness about you. Now, do I have to use it with every single person I see in the day? Hell no.
I mean, that is a
is-
problem Americans have, is the inherent lack of class, isn't it?
oh fuck.
Really? Is that why we elected Donald Trump? Really?
I don't know, you elected him.
My ass, I elected him. I didn't vote for him.
No, but you elected him.
We'll get rid of
You
him.
live here. Your taxes paid for it.
Yeah.
It's also kind of a respect thing, I think, for some folks.
Yeah.
When, it's a respect thing. Like, hey, have a good day. How are you? Even though we really know you don't really give a shit.
Well, I think
Well,
it's
it's
a Midwest thing. That's what I was getting ready to say a minute ago.
Yeah.
Like, you go to New York, you're just not going to have that.
No.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Then I think
What are they going to say? You go to a McDonald's, they go, I hope you choke on this.
Thank you for telling me what you really think and mean. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
There are a bunch of restaurants in Chicago that do that. Like, have you been to like Ed DeBevick's?
Oh,
or
yeah.
any pla-
Dick's Last Resort.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Love it.
So it's just a cultural thing about being polite, is it? You think?
I think it's overrated.
Is it that you were just pleased to see us go? When we did you see, we did the deal with France, which you lot didn't know about. But Adams, you remember Adams?
Yeah.
He was, yeah. Well, they were talking in France, right, about doing the deal with America. Americans don't realise we'd already done the deal with France. And we got them to negotiate. Did you not know that?
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
we knew
talking
all
about,
about that.
he's
I have
talking
no
about
idea.
Britain being
Yeah.
responsible for America.
Well, let's,
Yeah.
He's full of shit.
I know.
Basically. Yeah. Okay.
He's talking about how good he is and how much we
let's
suck.
think about when you go to Las Vegas and you buy a prostitute. Do you say, thank you, have a good day? No.
No, but she says that
Here's your money,
afterwards.
get the hell out of here.
She says, thank you, have a nice day.
Well, hopefully she says that.
Tomorrow, probably, she means.
Thanks for not giving me crabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It is Vegas.
all right, this leads
It is
me on to the
Vegas.
next thing is are table manners, are they important? Eating with one's mouth open, elbows, cell phones. What's important for you not to see at the table? And I emphasize not to see at the table. I was disgusted recently when a certain person was at my table and this certain person was eating with their mouth open. Don't do that. Oh, that's disgusting. What'd you do that for?
To make a point.
She loves you. She loves you.
Yeah, well, you want to pick up the meat that's on the table. It's really gross.
And please don't eat that.
Yeah, please don't. It's raw. Was at my table talking on their cell phone, watching games on their cell phone, mouth open and all that sort of thing. It's really gross.
So first of all, I
but
need
what's
to
important-
apologize to our one listener because they've listened for the last 2 years to Jeremy chewing into the microphone.
Yes.
So before we say anything else, we have to apologize for that. All right, go. Anybody else want to make a comment? Go right ahead.
Kath, I think you took the floor by that was fantastic.
Well,
so please.
so a little food happened to dribble out of my mouth as he was speaking. He wasn't impressed by that.
Just by chance.
Yeah, just by chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I know
table
What's acceptable
manners.
and what's not?
I know when I was a kid that there are a lot of these things that you've discussed, Jeremy, that were just unacceptable. Nowadays, you go to a restaurant, you see some young teenagers trying to have, a date night or something to that effect, and they're literally texting each other across the table.
They do. Isn't that weird?
And their elbows are on the table, they're texting, they're smacking with their mouths open because they don't have to communicate. Parenting. Sorry, parents.
Is that what
I'm
you
not,
put it
I'm
down,
not one. I'm not one, but
I think I think that it is. We live in a fast food society. Most of the time, people are not
Very much
sitting
so.
down to eat. If you're not sitting down to eat, if you're not trying to have a conversation, then all of those rules kind of go out the window.
Agreed.
That's my take on it. So, and I think Jeremy's question betrays this notion that manners have always been associated with class. Like, it is not something that if you were of a lower class, you ever had to deal with. And so what we have here is we have kind of eliminated that notion of class in America, especially the same way that the Brits have it.
Well, it also, I think, kind of harkens back to respect, one of the things we talked about a moment ago, because, again, given a situation, I probably do need to be taught table manners. That doesn't mean I'm going to use them with every single meal. But if I go to meet the parents of the woman I'm dating for the first time at dinner, I got to make sure.
again?
I got to make sure
Who
that
are
I'm
you dating?
using my
Well, that's
table
nice.
manners.
Himself
I don't
does
want
not
to sit
count.
there with my elbows on the table, just belching the table. You want to show a little respect.
But now that we're talking about a complete lack of table manners, let's hear from Evo.
Let's.
She comes from the Duck Dynasty, you know.
There we go.
You know,
The
it's
Duck
different.
Dynasty.
Well, Evo, in Bulgaria, you know, when you were growing up,
Yeah.
right, communist Bulgaria, etc., etc., your father's still a fairly cool guy, even then. You know, if we go back 30, 40 years. Did they do table manners and
Yeah,
stuff?
they taught us to have only your hands over the table.
Never your elbows.
Never.
Yeah, never eat with your mouth open. You know, all that stuff. You know, though, I was thinking. This got me thinking. They're evolving. Table manners are evolving with the times. So, for example, now they have to include cell phones and how
Still
appropriate.
that, but it should be just a given rule: no cell phones
No cell
at
phones.
the table.
Have you heard? You know, have you heard of that game, the cell phone game? It's a recent development. It's very popular now.
There's a lot of them.
So, well, there's one that I really like. Is everybody comes at a table at a restaurant, like friends or a family, and they play the cell phone game, which is everybody puts their cell phones face down in the middle of the table, and they start eating. And let's say it lasts 1 hour. In that 1 hour, the cell phones start beeping, vibrating. They're getting texts, calls. Whoever picks up their phone first pays the bill for the entire table. So
Stress out
God
enough.
damn, that's really
Well,
sad.
if nobody picks it up, they split. But usually somebody ends up paying the
Dude, that is sad.
I love that idea though, because I never pay a bill.
Oh yeah.
I hate my phone.
Yeah.
I hate it.
That's good.
I'm with Troy on that one, yeah.
I can survive without picking up my phone, but some people think that they are required immediately to answer. Whatever, it's like the end of the world, and if they don't
I would
read the
intentionally,
text,
I would intentionally order
Yeah.
the most expensive steak or lobster or whatever dish I could find, just for that reason. Just because I know someone else is going to have to pay that bill.
Even
Not
that,
least
that,
bec-
that is a great point, though.
Thank you,
'cause
Troy.
If everybody thinks that whatever's going on in their phone, whether it be Facebook or Snapchat or whatever the heck else there is out there,
extremely-
it's so
It's so
important.
important.
But
Boom.
you know, that's why there's a lot of younger folks nowadays that don't have the people skills
Yeah.
because they're not forced to actually communicate with people. So
Yeah.
we're talking about table manners, yes, but we're also talking about lots of other things as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you get some of these folks that they get in younger generation. That is, sorry, all you younger people, but you get into a job interview, and if you can't answer it on your dang phone,
Yeah.
well, you're screwed.
yeah.
Well, we don't need you.
Yeah, it's true. And, you know, to think of, I mean, Troy's really right. Consider 15 years ago, we didn't freaking have cell phones. Like, how did we live without them? You know,
15 years
we had
ago,
a much
you-
more fulfilling, social life, to tell you the truth.
You could get
Yeah.
a phone call, and you could
Yeah.
make a call. You don't have the internet and text messages and all this other stuff on it.
Yeah.
I remember I got my first car phone in 1988. I remember.
Did that come in the box?
It was a
Yeah.
on the side of the car, and
Yeah.
you know, all this
Suitcase.
sort of thing.
With the spiral cord.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, hell yeah.
And
Old school.
I used to go off places, and then I would call back to my secretary saying, "Are there any messages?" And she was lovely. Melanie, her name was, and she used to say to me, "No messages." You know, bloody woman. There were messages. She just wasn't going to tell me because she thought I was on an ego trip, which I was. You know,
No,
with
humble
with
brag.
my phone in the car
Yeah,
because I
that's
had a
kind of a
phone in the
given.
car.
You being an aristocrat, you being a British aristocrat, were they very particular, your parents, about where your knife is and where your fork is, and the ostrich egg
I don't-
fork?
Yeah,
and
I don't mind admitting to friends that there are two things that I get really, really, anal about. One is I have never been able to write out a check in front of somebody. I spell my name wrong. I write the number in the wrong
But
place.
you
I get
can't
the
write a
date
check in front of somebody?
No, because my mother.
Do you have stage fright?
Yeah, sort
okay.
of, effectively.
Okay.
Like that. We were made to do thank you letters. For every present we ever got, we had to do thank you letters. And so we
Word
would
perfect.
sit.
Letter perfect.
Letter
Thank you,
perfect,
letters.
word perfect, everything. And the
Or
other
start
thing
over.
Who else
was
that gets the hose again?
that we had to help set the table. If her indoors wasn't there,
Nobody wants to do
we had to
that.
go set the table. And that would be a proper settings with knives in the right place and spoons facing in the right direction and what have you. I can tell other people how to do it.
I know my head's hurting trying to parse that
Has
out.
to face in the right direction.
Spoons have to face in the right direction.
See, and again, this is why this conversation, what you're describing right now, is why we are all confused with the first topic, how you complain about how polite Americans are. When listen to what you're talking about with fucking silverware, man. Who cares?
Well, and that was my point to my father regularly. We have someone to do that. Why do I have to?
Butlers!
There it is.
man.
There it is.
Chives. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're depriving them of their livelihood.
I'm sorry, man. I cannot be on your show, may I?
Yes. You understand. It's like when you have someone dress you.
Yes.
If you say, no, I don't want you to dress me, that you're depriving them of their career, of their job. That's what they're there to do.
Yeah. Did you have somebody hold your toothbrush while you do this?
No. But I mean,
he just ran back and forth really fast with the
So he doesn't have to move his head.
Yeah.
you don't have gentlemen's
royal
clubs
penis is
here,
clean,
where you go to the club and there's a guy doing all the towels and everything else, you know.
You said gentlemen's club, right?
Gentlemen's club, yeah.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
not
Towel.
The guy.
Our
No,
kind
when
of
you go
gentleman's
into
club.
the
That's not
Oh, I
Right,
understand.
there'll be a
Okay.
gentleman
Yeah.
there.
Well, there's
and
very
he'll
nice
help
restaurants and
help
places you go to in America that do that.
I've never
but
been to one where
Really?
you have a valet there.
It was Arby's,
Really?
but
You know,
they-
there's a
give you-
gentleman's club down the road. They got a really good buffet.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you're
maybe
going
we'll
to see
take you
naked
down there
women.
someday.
yeah, $5.
So,
Yeah.
so are we agreed then that in general our view is not to see cell phones at the table?
No.
I mean, except in emergencies
100%.
and stuff like
Totally
that.
agree. Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
We'd rather
Should be
not.
turned off.
But we are a dying breed, so that's not going to happen.
right.
Oh, and I need to put my standard disclaimer. I disagree with all you old folks. Like, kids communicate now just as well as they always have. They don't know the rules that we grew up with, but the rules that we grew up with
Do
are
you
not
allow
important.
your children with a cell phone on the table? Would you
No.
allow your children to have
No.
a cell phone on the table?
No.
All right.
But
Well, then,
that
Do you have to
does-
text your child to get out of bed?
that would be awesome. I never thought about that,
you-
but I sure as shit could.
Can you text your child?
We've done that.
Will you please take a bath or shower? Hey, it's time for you to brush your teeth.
But see,
Text
here's the
message.
thing. Here's the thing. If that worked, I'd do it in a minute. I would never, ever even hesitate. If I walked into my kid's room and said, take a bath,
soon as
and
you do
they
that, you're
ignored me.
lame.
No, I agree with you. But if I walked into my kid's room and said, take a shower, and they ignored me, and then I sent them that same message and text, and for some reason they responded to that better than
What
they
if,
did.
What if you
I
posted
would be
on
texting
Twitter,
them all goddamn
Instagram,
day.
or Facebook? What if you Snapchatted your child like, hey, it's time for you to take a shower?
You know what? That might work for a whole different set of reasons.
My thought though is that I noticed it with Ivo's son Emil, who came to my house recently and needed some work doing on his car. And I was chatting away to Ivo, and occasionally I would say something to Emil, who was doodling away on his phone.
Of course.
Right. Now, what I found interesting was that Emil was able to respond immediately to me.
Yeah.
So, what do you want me to do with this? And he has the answer, but he's still doodling away on his
It's
phone.
weird.
And
Levels
I'm
of
wondering,
consciousness?
yes,
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether it's like flying a helicopter. You have to be able to do two things with the joystick and the cyclic at the same time. Like rubbing your head and your tummy and all that sort of thing. Flying helicopters is something not everyone can do.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering whether or not kids growing up today are able to have a conversation and talk with their phone. What they're clearly not able to do is drive and talk down the phone because
Why do
they
you think
get
it's the
into the
kids?
phone conversation.
Kids are evolving, and the etiquette is evolving as well. There's certain things. There's new etiquette. For example, you're not supposed to talk on your phone while you're at the cashier, right?
Or while getting a blowjob.
Yeah, of course.
Well, no, wait a minute, man. I mean,
Never
you,
heard
Take it when you can get it.
or you're
You're on the phone and it happens.
ordering
What do you say?
Starbucks and looking at your phone, and you're not
Yeah, it's
supposed
just-
to do that. You're not supposed to break up with a girlfriend, right? On over
That's
your
true,
phone,
you're not- yeah.
on a text.
Well,
So
speaking
there's
of-
etiquette, new etiquette.
Speaking of, what do you have to chime in, Kathleen?
What do I have? What?
What do you have to say about this?
About etiquette of phones?
Sure.
She hates them.
No, I don't mind.
How
As
are
long as
phones
it
used
keeps
in
the
your
kids from talking
office?
to me, that's great.
How are phones used in
I
your office?
love where your head's at.
Do they? Is there a lot of cell phone? Is cell phone use allowed where you work?
Oh, yeah.
And does it interfere with what's going on?
No, because we're all old farts.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I wonder if Donald Trump fired
He did.
Sean?
Sean
Probably.
Spicer
Yeah, probably.
with a tweet
Yeah.
or a text.
Probably.
I'm not even sure he fired Sean. He probably just announced,
Yeah,
here's the
Spicer
new guy.
resigned.
I have a surprise for you guys.
Resigned.
This was a deliberate segue. I have a surprise. I discovered.
You brought Sean
man,
to talk
you
with
got
us
your
tonight?
hands down.
I
Below the
discovered
table.
something very valuable written by Sean Spicer.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're talking about
Jeremy, is this
a
allowed?
farewell letter that I discovered in a secret vault
Oh, dear.
that he has written himself.
Please tell me this
it's-
rhymes.
Does somebody need to
Was he
proofread
in
this
the
The only
first?
thing that makes this better is if
It's
in-
his farewell
if it's in
letter.
poem,
What
if
really
it's
is
a poem.
shocking, it's called Spicer Rhapsody. And what's shocking is it also serves two purposes. One, it tells us his real feelings about his firing. And also, it unveils a time machine that obviously was used by Freddie Mercury, who obviously traveled forward in time, plagiarized Sean Spicer's letter, and turned it into Bohemian Rhapsody. But this is clearly original, written by Sean Spicer. And because nobody should mess with Freddie Mercury's singing, including stupid
No.
Kanye West, he destroyed Bohemian Rhapsody.
He was throwing a lot of things.
Yeah, but and
Again,
I'm not
old
going
people,
to.
They don't understand that Kanye's great. Keep going.
I will not dare sing it, but I will recite it.
Kanye.
Read
Kanye's
the
great.
letter.
Yes.
I will read the letter. Brace yourselves.
Trying to.
We're braced.
Is this a massive lie? Is this just fantasy?
This is singing too?
Well, a little bit. Caught, it's
you
almost
didn't-
impossible
you
not
didn't-
to. It's
you didn't
it's kind of
prepare
you
us
hum
for
it.
that.
You hum it.
You didn't prepare us for
you try not to hum this.
I was just waiting
Yeah,
for a letter.
yeah.
And
Go
you
on,
start
get on
singing.
with it, Evo.
Caught,
Sorry.
caught in a shitstorm, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I need no sympathy. Because I'm easy come, easy go, in the bush, hiding low. Anyway, the wind blows, doesn't really matter to me, Don't know, just killed a man. He put a gun against his head, pulled the trigger, now he's dead. Donald's lies have just begun, but now he's gone with Kelly and Conway.
Oh.
Donald, ooh, didn't mean to tell your lies. If I'm not back again this time, tomorrow, carry on, Kelly Ann. As if nothing really matters. Too late. New York Times has come. Sanders shivers down my spine. Kushner's gonna do some time.
Oh, yeah.
Goodbye, everybody. I've got to go. Gotta leave those lies behind and tell a truth. Donald. Ooh,
Oh, no, we all got to do that. Donald.
I don't wanna lie. Sometimes wish I'd never been born at all. I see a little silhouette of a mane. Scaramucci, Scaramucci, will you do the tone triangle? So,
Try again.
Tillerson and lightning, very, very frightening me. Mike Pompeo, Mike Pompeo, Mike Pompeo Figaro. Manafortico. I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a rich family. Spare him his life from this monstrosity. Easy come, easy go. Will you let me go? Will not let you go. Never, never let you go. No, 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 no. Oh, Melania, Melania, Melania. Beelzebub. Has a Stephen Bannon put aside for me, for me, for me. And now I feel like banging head a little bit. And then it goes. So Melissa McCarthy can spit in my eye. So the Donald can love me and force me to lie. Oh, Donnie, can do this to me, Donnie. Just gotta get out. Just gotta get right out of here. And then it ends, of course, with Facts don't really matter. Anyone can see. Facts don't really matter. Nothing really matters to me. Anyway, the wind blows.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Very nice.
You know what? I am most happy that that
Hey, Jeremy, can I throw a hashtag out?
Throw something, please.
Hashtag fake news. Am I allowed to do that?
Hashtag fake news. I'm beginning to like
True story.
Troy now's just Troy's actual accent. It's very interesting because being a Brit,
I have an accent?
you do.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's
can we-
slightly yowly.
Keep in mind that where Jeremy comes from, everybody talks like him.
That's true.
Well, no, that's okay. I'm okay with it. I like people. I just don't like everybody. I just like some people.
So here's a question for you.
Feel that
Let's
way.
move on.
Jeremy's
After
in that not liked part, but yes.
there are people I don't like.
He's
I
okay
could
for
tell
me right now.
Give it
And I
time.
don't like people.
Give it
You
time.
don't come
Okay.
from France or anything like that, do you?
Oh, that's a topic for another day.
All right. So here's a question for you guys, for the panel. Favorite talking head. Who is your one only favorite person, male or female, talking head?
Ladies
News or sports, TV or radio? I bet I can write down. Who's she gonna say?
Well, you're married to
All-time
her.
favorite?
Duh.
Ladies, if you say
John
ladies
Stewart.
Oh, John Stewart. All right.
Good call.
I'm still mourning him.
That's
not
what I have
being
right here
on
on my
regularly.
sheet. But I got,
you
I
and
got
a
an
lot of
option,
other
too.
people, Kathleen. That's a good one. I like.
John Stewart.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool, good.
And
Yeah,
he's not
yeah.
a news anchor. He's a
I
comedian.
go last?
But close
Sure.
enough.
But he's a talking head, isn't
Yes.
he?
I mean, I know I'm the new
You
guy
can
here,
and you
but
will.
I mean, if you're like, no,
Dr. Orlando.
No, nope.
Well, I have to give me just a second because I was going to say John Stewart, but somebody beat me to it.
Oh, shit. Go on.
I am
So,
going to say then, as a second, I'm going to say the Colbert Report, Stephen Colbert, not the Tonight Show.
Oh, okay. The fake Colbert.
The character
Okay.
Stephen Colbert. Yes,
Yeah, he's good.
so you were going to go with John Stewart, though,
hands down.
right?
If I'm looking for somebody to tell me the news in a interesting way, I don't know that there's anybody today that's doing it.
Trevor
better.
Noah is growing on me.
He's gotten better.
Yeah.
just
for
Troy.
sure.
my turn now.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was gonna wait. I'm gonna say Stuart Scott from ESPN because he, passed away with cancer. He fought the fight, and he's been such an inspiration to so many people, not only in the sports, region of life, but just everybody in general. Because his message, just like Jim Valvano, was just great. It's one of those things I just kind of got some goosebumps just talking about it and thinking about it. But somebody that I've cancer has affected my life, and somebody who's a figurehead. Stuart Scott was phenomenal to listen to and watch when he was in his prime, in his heyday at the ESPN with SportsCenter. And, but when he was sick and was doing his fight, he was an inspiration for everybody. Even if cancer's never touched you, Stuart Scott was great. I think we all miss him every day.
Stuart Scott, Evo.
Yeah, John Stewart's mine too, for many reasons. He replaced Craig Kilborn as the host of The Daily Show. Craig Kilborn was just a frat boy. He was nothing special.
Look what happened to his career.
He comes in and transforms the show into probably the most important show for 17 years on television, and makes it in a. You know what was very special about Jon Stewart? He was effortless. The points that he was making, they were extremely easy to digest. He had a direct line from the television to your mind
With humor.
immediately. Sometimes with humor, sometimes very, very serious points. And I attribute to him the direction of this society in many ways, because I think he influenced an entire generation of young people to care about politics and to understand politics and to vote. And I think Barack Obama owes him a lot, and I think he understands it, because he famously twice invited him to the White House secretly. And Jon Stewart, when this came out, he got caught a lot of flack for it. But like Barack Obama understood that this guy influenced a lot of people, opened their eyes about realities in our society, about the injustices in our society in a very, very cool way, extremely entertaining way. He also had an incredible eye for talent. He created Steve Carell. Steve Carell was a correspondent on The Daily Show before he went on to The Office fame and the movie fame. He created Colbert.
John Oliver,
Larry Wilmore, John Oliver now. So many
Samantha
people.
Bee.
Samantha Bee. He had a great eye for talent and was willing to open the door for these talented people. It's just a great, very influential talking. I like Bill Maher as well.
See, I enjoy Bill Maher's show, but he's I don't know if
he drives his points in a similar way, and
he
does. Has incredible delivery of I don't know who writes his stuff, but it's important to deliver it correctly, and he has a really good delivery.
If it's possible,
I wanted to go. See, I don't know all the American talking heads, and of course there's English ones which, for this blog, probably aren't worth doing, but I do think that one of the people that I sort of grew up a little bit with was Walter Cronkite, and Voice of America. He was, I don't mean the broadcast, but I mean he was sort of like the Voice of America. In England we had Mr. Dimbleby Senior and then his son, who would always do the talks of when there was a big royal funeral or something like that. We would listen to these guys. And Dimbleby Senior did broadcasts during the war and so on. So those people. I have a heroine, though, if I might.
Women aren't allowed on the show.
Who I think...
You're talking about the drug?
That's
heroine,
illegal, sir.
Who I think has done a huge amount for morning cable TV, and that's Mika Brzezinski. Her dad died recently, Zib Brzezinski, and she's a very, very interesting lady. And interestingly, when she was at the White House, Trump invited her to the White House and said, "Well, I bet you've never been here before." And she said, "Well, the first time I came when I was 6 with my father, who was working for the then president, But I don't know that she's got 17 degrees and doctorates like Rachel Maddow and all that sort of thing. But who is another talking head, who I think is amazing. But it seems that Mika has this thing that she and Rachel Maddow have turned around a whole news channel. They are now getting more listeners and viewers than Fox News, which is amazing, and I think that's just really cool. All right, so that does that. I want to ask you...
Actually, it doesn't. I get to respond, too.
Oh, God, are you still here?
Can we vote on that? Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, before...
I know how you like to discount me here. You do that quite often. That's cool.
Can I make one comment before?
Sure.
I really enjoyed, Bob Ross when I was a young child because he was so soothing and he'd paint his pictures. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I just want to throw that out there because Bob Ross doesn't get the respect that he deserves.
I like it.
And the hair.
Okay.
Just to show
I was thinking
that I
Bob
actually know who you're
Dobbs, but
talking
that's
about.
completely different.
Okay, Jason Springer now.
I say John Saunders.
Are you done? Oh,
John
sorry.
Yeah,
Saunders.
John Saunders.
Who?
Oh, yeah. John Saunders.
a
He
funny name.
was the man who hosted the Sports Reporters on ESPN for a long, long time.
Oh.
When he passed away,
Rest in peace.
he just passed away himself. And when he passed away, you heard colleague after colleague after colleague at ESPN say, no one made the job look easier than John. John could do anything and everything. And he was the most fair balanced and the most poignant and just the most honest reporter I had ever seen at that station from decades all the way to today. He was by far the best, without a doubt.
Very well respected gentleman in the sports industry for a very long time.
Absolutely.
Evo.
Before we wrap it up, Carl fucking Sagan.
Yeah.
Carl Sagan was freaking incredible, and he changed minds. He opened minds and worlds, and he was revolutionary and really important. Yeah.
Don't forget Alex Jones. No.
Oh my God.
Please, can't I forget Alex Jones?
Jeremy, do you know, did Tom Conroy ever have anything on the radio? Because
He did, yeah. And Tom Conroy.
Well, so
back in the day-
how can we not forget about Tom Conroy?
Well, Tom
What
Conroy,
about Jeremy Taylor?
Tom Conroy back in the day, of course, was a star.
whoa! I
very
don't ever
highly-
tell him that.
Very highly regarded.
Ever tell him that, please.
This, of course, was before CNN and Fox News. You know, when radios
AKA
had valves.
Fake news.
Or tubes, you call them tubes. This is before fake news and everything else. Tom Conroy would go out on his bicycle looking for stories, and then he'd crank up his telephone and plug it in somewhere, and then call back to the radio station. Oh, it was amazing.
This was
Let
great.
me tell you. All right. Question, and you may know the actual answer to this, or you may have an opinion. I'm just interested to know. Why do those flying and creepy crawly things bite us? After all, what have we done to them?
This is the flying monkey.
Seriously, what's worse, chopping onions or mosquito bites, or even mosquitoes versus bee stings? We can send a man to the moon, no woman yet, of course, but still no cure for a chigger bite. I don't understand. We have a whole freaking university up the hill. Surely they can do something about chiggers.
Chiggers are the worst, hands down.
Chiggers,
Out
yeah.
of everything you listed there,
You have
mosquitoes, cutting
flying
onions,
fucking mosquitoes
bees.
that are as big as a bloody
Chiggers
Messerschmitt.
Chiggers are the worst because you can sit there and put bug spray on yourself before you go out and weed your garden or whatever the hell you're going to do. And you come in and you don't have any bites on you. You shower up and you go to bed. You're not itchy at all. You wake up the next day, boom, you got a bite on your ball sack somehow. Even though you sprayed up and down with bug spray, but still, chiggers are the worst, hands down.
You're right.
Well, I discovered something the other day. Now, this is true. Not a lot of people know this, but I did discover this. Is that if you lunchtime Tuesday, discover that you've got chigger bites all over you, and you think, well, what was I doing 3 or 4 hours ago? I must have been in the grass or something. No, it was yesterday.
It was what you did on Saturday.
It was a day ago.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's
You
the
see,
worst.
I've
That's
been
why
here.
they are the worst.
Are you
hands
kidding
down.
me?
Most bug bites, whether it be a chigger, mosquito, and I can keep going with a plethora of other bugs.
Plethora is a word. It's a bit big for
Yes.
this podcast. Plethora
my
is.
apologies.
It's like symbiotic.
I'm trying to
It's-
fit in because I know my IQ is the lowest of anybody.
Well,
here,
right,
so
yeah, okay.
Do you know the
trying,
word?
I'm
I take that
trying.
honor
I'm
every
trying to
week.
act the
We
part.
in
but
Bulgaria we use panopticum. Do you use that word, panopticum?
No,
Can you
no,
spell
Not if we
that?
can
I
do
know
it.
something you can order.
Panopticum.
You can order it
Never
at
mind.
McDonald's.
It's
can't
like
you?
Is
plethora,
that with
but
a
it's
Q?
panopticum.
right,
Panopticum.
okay.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, most piercing insects, it's depending on your skin sensitivity level, will be anywhere
Piercing
from
insect's a great name for a rock band.
8 to 24 hours before you even know that you've been bit by something.
Yeah, but why do they do it? What have we ever done to them?
The question
called
is
the cycle
why?
of
Dude,
life,
is it because
man.
we squished one of their grandparents
Look,
when we
they
were
got pissed
children?
off because now
I
we're at
think
the top
they're
of the
just
food chain.
assholes.
This is just their way to get back at us. That's all.
You know, we are getting back at them. We had an entire show dedicated to freaking food made out of insects, and the world is now looking at feeding itself with insects.
That's
It's
true.
big. There's
Yeah.
farms for crickets and whatnot, and we had an entire show. Don't make me go crazy again and
But
start coming up with dishes, with insect dishes. Like last time
How
I had
many
bee
dishes
stroganoff.
would you have to make a whole
Remember
spoonful?
bee stroganoff?
Not to mention,
Oh,
if there's
yeah.
ever
How about crinkle cut French flies?
if there's ever a nuclear holocaust that wipes out our species, you know what's going to survive? Bugs,
Kentucky Fried
bugs,
Cricket?
and
Cockroaches.
Kentucky Fried
Cricket.
Cricket. Or simply Tic Tac.
How about warmicelli?
What?
Warmicelli.
What about strawberry lice cream?
No.
Dude, that's no.
But why are your
Did you tell him what the topics were before he?
why
No,
are
this was a show from way back
my
where I
apologies.
came up with this.
I'm the new guy. So.
Yeah, but I
But
could probably
what I
come
want to
up
know
with
is,
a bunch
I'm in
more.
my swimming
yeah.
pool, right,
Yeah.
minding my own business.
Body of water.
With a body of water, yes, small
Yes.
lake, and I've got my margarita floating next to me. I'm sitting there minding my own
welcome.
business, and I hear coming
butler
in,
rows out every now and then, too,
coming
fresh
in
margarita.
from the southeast, right, a small fighter jet, right, and I'm thinking, damn, I wish I had an anti-aircraft weapon. and it ends up it's a flying thing. It's a
horsefly.
it's a horsefly or something. I could fire shells at the fucker, you know. And they're like seaplanes. They come in and they land on the swimming pool.
He gets
That's 'cause
quite
you're so
upset
delicious.
about bugs.
Frozen low custard.
Yeah, dude.
That's a new one.
Wow.
How about moussaka?
All right, I got a question.
Moussaka?
Has anybody here heard of the Schmidt's pain or sting pain index scale?
Yes.
Apparently you have, because you got it right there.
Well, of course.
Well, yeah.
I come prepared.
What
So
did you say?
enlighten us.
Shits.
Schmidt's sting pain index scale.
No, tell us about it.
So this guy basically
It's actually pretty neat.
it's got here. You can take a look at it.
Oh, I know what it is.
Well, for
Kathleen needs to
yes.
see it.
Okay, so
that is basically he breaks down.
Sorry.
This guy basically walked around and let himself get stung by a bunch of different bugs, and so let me react.
Is that why you had the shits?
No, his name is Schmidt. By the way.
Oh,
He
bizarre.
basically rated the different bites that he
Okay.
got, the different stings that he got.
and so what is the most painful sting?
He has 3 on the list that he basically splits it up into groups of 4. Either one is like a
Or Schmitz it up
fire
into.
ant.
Yeah.
I think the fire ant is in the top of the one of the top
hornet?
one of the number 4s. No.
Scorpion? Honeybee's low.
No, yeah, honeybee is number 1. The
Sucks.
yeah. I'm looking for the fire ant on the list. He has pretty much everything here. I'm just not seeing it immediately. Fire ant is a number 3. The number 4s are
Which Lawrence, Kansas does not possess those.
good. I was wondering if we ever actually get to see them here. The tarantula hawk. If you look at a picture of it, it is maybe the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Wow. How big is it?
People do not look that up, please, because they're not indigenous to this area.
Is it like the size of a small
hawk
bird?
is a great name for a superhero.
Can you shoot it out of the sky with a shotgun?
I'd rather go for the honey
That might be
badger.
the best way
I'd rather be
to
the
take
honey
care
badger.
of a tarantula hawk.
Tarantula hawk.
There's a bullet ant, which is apparently even more painful. That the guy himself said that is the single most painful bite that
Again,
he's ever
the one that he
experienced.
just described is not indigenous to this area.
And then the last one is the warrior wasp.
Is this guy into S&M, perchance? 'Cause it sounds like he might
so
be.
I read his story when I found this
I read
article.
about him
Is it
too.
is he basing this on in South America or like Southern Africa?
He's apparently
or-
gone all over the world.
And he's
Okay.
let himself
Yeah,
be
alright.
bitten
Yeah,
so that
so
he can
it kind
judge
of
it?
started as a
He's Trump value
well,
nuts.
he's a hiker. If that helps give you any perspective on
He's
this.
clearly into S&M because he's addicted to pain. Clearly.
So fire
travels
ants
the
and leather
globe finding-
is really the way to go, is it?
Antipasta. How about chocolate mosquito? Double cheeseburger?
Can we just maybe reread the Sean Spicer?
Double
Rhapsody?
cheeseburger, baby.
Can we not?
I think you're
please?
feeding the bear. You're feeding the bear.
So my question is, though, you
Back
lot
to
have
the
all
question.
lived in the Americas for a long time.
We have.
Best
Yes.
place.
And when we discovered
number
chiggers, we
one.
fucked off very
We're
quickly.
number one.
I tell you.
The question is
let
why?
me tell you, we knew about chiggers and we left. But
Somebody was smart.
why has there never been anything done about chiggers?
Double cheeseburger.
Yeah, I know. You can eat the freaking things. They're too small. You have to have so many of them.
Okay.
And they're not red because of blood. They just are
They're
red.
insects,
doing
man.
about it?
They mass produce. You're not going to destroy an entire species of insect. You can't stop
Well,
them.
not just that.
There's
They don't
No,
know what
there is just that.
Yes,
you can't
there is.
stop them.
We don't have them in
you
England.
could-
They are not allowed.
We could pay.
Okay, we don't allow
The
things
entire
like
country.
Oh, do you
chiggers.
make them check
Right?
their passport and shit?
No, we just
Yeah.
don't have them.
All right.
They don't like
You know-
British
I know what
food.
I'm bringing to England next time I go.
We're sheep.
Believe me, they do like British food. Chiggers,
Chiggers like British food?
all the bugs around here just love a bit of British flesh.
There's,
Believe me.
I was in
They go
Orlando.
straight for
Is,
Jeremy.
is that fish and chips?
It's like I'm like New Zealand lamb. They are.
Yeah.
I am.
So
chiggers.
so chiggers and mosquitoes love you.
Oh, they
we
do.
put
They
out
head straight
broadcasts
for
So you have
on
that
Chigger
hot-
News. It goes out.
So Jeremy, you have that pheromone that they love.
That's
I
it.
do,
because-
it's very naughty.
There it is.
We are.
It's ever so slightly French,
They
but
don't
we don't talk
know
about that.
you.
I'm not
They
sure
don't know
pheromone's a word
and
you wanna
they-
use.
No offense, they don't know your kind.
We went
Well,
to
that's right.
Orlando.
That's why they love you.
You went to Orlando.
Florida.
Yeah.
What,
God,
Jamie,
goodbye.
15 years ago, maybe more, in April, and unfortunately it coincided with the 2 weeks where they have a bug there that's extremely active. Now, that bug was genetically engineered in University of Florida to destroy mosquitoes. So you brought that up. What are we doing to destroy these bugs? So they genetically engineered a bug to consume mosquitoes and eradicate them. Instead, these
Mosquitoes gave him Zika.
I don't know
They
what
just let
happened.
this
They
thing
did not
loose
destroy mosquitoes.
without-
Instead, they proliferated like crazy. They don't bite. They call them love bugs. They look like they have 2 heads
Anteaters love
and
mosquitoes too.
many tentacles and 2 heads. And they don't bite you, but they swarm you, and it's a nightmare because it's like clouds and clouds of these love bugs, and they also stick to the windshield of your car, and it's very hard to scrape them off of the hood of your car, and they destroy the paint because they have acidic blood. So those love bugs are actually, they're 2 bugs. They have to mate at all times. That's how they engineer them for some
know
reason.
how they
feel.
And
Like
they're
us, dear.
just 2 bugs together that look like 1 bug.
It's a pain in the ass.
You know,
No pun
and it's a
intended.
nightmare. So we
They
play
do
Dr.
anal.
Frankenstein and end up with
They
something
do
stupid.
anal as well.
So
Apparently.
Really, buggy anal. Okay, so
Learn
that's
something new every
all right.
day.
So
Thank you.
again,
by the way, I love your shirt. I really do. I wish
I want to
I wish the
ask-
listeners could see your shirt
You
because
know the story,
I might
right?
have to take a picture
The
of
old
that
Native
shirt.
American.
that's great.
You know the old
Sorry,
Native
Mr.
American
Taylor,
fable,
I
right?
apologize. I just really like that shirt.
His shirt has a
If it was
dog
big
on
enough
a
for
husky.
me, I'd steal it from you.
It's a wolf. It's the black wolf and the white wolf, and it's an old Indian tale. You've probably heard it. It was. Should I tell it? Or
Yeah,
do
tell
you
it.
guys know it?
No,
tell
go
us.
ahead.
So there was a young kid, a Native American kid, went to talk to his grandfather, who's an old and very wise Indian chief. And he was expecting life lessons, the little kid. And the Indian chief said, "I have one thing to tell you. There are 2 wolves. There are 2 wolves inside of me right now, and they're fighting. And one of them is aggressive, is vain, is evil, and greedy.
That's me.
And the other wolf is kind, tolerant, and accepting,
That's Jeremy.
and smart." And he said, and this fight is happening right now inside of me. And this fight, those 2 wolves live inside of you too, and in every other person in the world. And the little kid thought for a while and said, who's going to win? Which wolf's going to win? And the chief said, the one you feed. So that's a very old, very interesting fable, Indian fable.
That is a very
and this T-shirt
deep thought,
represents
yes.
the good wolf and the bad wolf, and you can't exist without them. You know.
Which side is which?
I don't know.
You don't know? I was thinking maybe the good side was one you had, food plastered all over or something.
as the famous Marty Feldman once
It's just
said, werewolves, they're wolves.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Jesus.
Should, and this is something I have felt very strongly about ever since I was about 6, so 70 years ago. Should
35 years
children
ago.
have to do homework in the holidays? Should children have to do homework in the holidays?
I think Mr. Springer needs to let us.
I agree.
I think
We got to
this
get your
is one
opinion
for Mr.
first.
Springer now.
My personal answer is no.
Why not?
It depends upon the teacher because it depends upon their own policy. But I have the rule, and I always told this to my students: if I have a holiday and I'm taking time off and I'm not coming to work, then I'm not going to make you work. That's not fair. And so I would always make sure that even if I did give an assignment over the holidays, I would make sure the assignment wouldn't be due until, I don't know, 5 days until they got back. They would have the 5 days of school returning to actually do the work. But I would never give them an assignment over the holidays. That's awful.
Kathleen,
From the perspective of a parent a while ago, I would say yes. Give them lots of work, and if they haven't been given work, the parent should make it up. and lock them in their room until school starts again.
All right, then do that.
Yeah.
So you believe they should do work at the weekend?
See, this is me trying to help you out. Instead of giving them homework, you give them chores.
Yeah,
You see?
and then they just laugh.
Then they're just working.
Chores
for
you have to let them out of
not
their
for
room
me.
for.
Well,
Troy, do you
for some,
think children, and you were a child once, do you think children should be given homework to do in the summer holidays?
Jeremy, I'm gonna tend to agree with Jason a little bit. It depends on the teacher. I mean, if they've done their due diligence and their classwork, they've had everything that they need to take care of prior to a particular holiday break. Now, as somebody who has nieces and nephews now, they need homework. They do. They need to be busy, because kids these days can't really keep themselves occupied anymore outside of electronics. And there's a lot of electronics you can use nowadays to do homework and educational things. But I don't have kids, so I can't say yes or no. But
Dr. Orlando,
year-long school
do you
system.
think that children should be given homework? Do you think they should have to do it?
If they're given homework, yes, they should have to do it. I'm not a fan of homework. I'm not anti-homework. I'm kind of curious, Mr. Springer. In your time at the school, did you see a lot of the what is the now current movement of no homework for kids? Like, did it permeate the high school level?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No.
But had that theory or doctrine?
It had floated out there a little bit, and people flirted with it, but it never really gained a lot of steam and speed. The one thing that I think would solve all of this problem is if we had a year-long school system.
Right.
Instead of going just 9 months out of the year, go year-long, go to school for 3 weeks, then take a week off, whatever. That would make it. And studies show that students retain much better.
Oh, man, you guys are such a bunch of softies.
Evo,
Jeez.
what do you think? Do you think children should have to have...
I want you to bring a report next Wednesday. I want a 15-page report. Next Wednesday, type.
No problem. I write very big letters.
Don't you have a holiday coming up?
Bigly.
12
I'm
points.
going to bigly type single space
1-inch margins.
about the educational system of Kath the Great.
Okay.
All right, Evo.
Get to work.
Evo.
I don't know about homework. I wouldn't mind giving the kids book reading assignments, age-appropriate books, because kids don't read anymore. And, I feel like there's certain books that should be read, and there are times, down times in the summer, where the kids, instead of, they would go and play video games, have them read a couple of books, 2 or 3 books a summer. Other than that, I feel like the summer is time for fishing and traveling and chasing the ball
And mowing the lawn.
and lemonade and strawberry ice cream and Kentucky Fried Crickets, that kind of stuff.
And
No
bonking
homework.
behind the cricket and all that sort of thing. Absolutely.
And there we go again. We're right back to it.
So, okay, well, I felt, and I always felt, when you're at school, and when you're at home, you're at home.
So I'm just curious, have you heard of this new trend where schools, teachers, districts are like eliminating homework altogether?
Well, they're very civilized. No, I haven't heard of it, but it's very
Yeah,
civilized.
there is a movement for this.
Yeah.
There are schools in New York. Now, I'm not going to say New York City.
New York City?
Now, they don't get the summer off like kids in the Midwest do, or we'll say Lawrence, because we can talk about Lawrence, but they get a couple of weeks off or a month off here, but they essentially go year-round school, but they only get a couple weeks off here and there.
Yeah.
So when they're off in that regard,
Works
no
much
homework
better.
whatsoever. But if you go on the weekends, it's not a holiday, then I think you should be able to do homework, don't you think?
Apparently,
You're
Jeremy
talking
feels.
about the English system. They have 3 terms. He was never off for more than 3 or 4 weeks at a time in the summer. And other times, 2 weeks.
A friend of mine who has children and live in New York City, one of the boroughs of New York City. That's almost identically how they go to school like the English system.
And Jeremy, I'm sure, always resented having assignments during that time.
Well, I think most people resent
Troy, do you
having
have
assignments. I have 0 kids. No,
If
sir.
you ever have a daughter, please name her Helen, so she can be Helen of Troy. Wouldn't that be perfect?
Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I thank you? And without further ado,
Just
I
a
want to
good
thank-
old boy.
I want to thank our sponsors tonight
Never
in
meaning
Evo.
no harm.
If you would be kind enough to do
Beats
the
all,
honours
never saw
and thank our sponsors as you always do in a traditional Bulgarian manner.
Let's thank our generous sponsors, TWA, and of course MySpace.
You know who we just lost as a sponsor? Zima.
Oh
We
no!
just lost Zima.
no.
We lost Zima, but you know who stepped in? Radio Shack.
Oh, that's true.
Want to thank the panel, of course, and thank our producers and engineer Neil Rasmussen, and of course Eric, the producer. Yes. So you've been listening to me, Jeremy Taylor, the Brit, on the radio in your luggles, trying to keep some semblance of order. Yes, you have. You've been listening to Wednesday Night Undressed again. Yay!